stream up, mate.
Give it a couple of minutes.
Right then, mate. Just send us an old message on Facebook, then I'll start the commentary, mate.
We're live.
Oh, very good.
Just talk really quietly.
Like they can't hear us.
Yeah, nobody can hear us right now.
It'll be our little secret.
This is the ASMR. Right.
Now, as you can hear, did you just sink a comb? What just happened there, Brett?
Just took a piss.
Oh, right. Oh.
Okay, the next voice you hear will be Rob's.
Very good. Oh, right now.
Yeah, go, man.
It's round 8, right?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. It's SRL round at Singapore tonight. I'm your commentator, Rob Dog 1996, with my co-commentators Trevor and Bradley. Good night, not good night, good evening to you boys, and trust you both had a lovely day.
Yes, I certainly have. Thank you, Rob. Yep, my job. I've got no worries at all, do I? But thanks for the intro, and it's great to have everybody with us, and also another co-commentator who doesn't have a life ban or a race ban is Bradley Marshall. Brad, good evening to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So first time we're having a 3-minute commentary team, and I got to say the banter's already kicking off, so I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yes, it's nice to have a little three-way once in a while, isn't it, boys?
It certainly is, and boy, it's going to be one of those nights, isn't it? But this is absolutely the Three Musketeers, says James Barton, and Wilco saying, I hear you all. And Big Kane Leishman says, go Kano, you can do it, talking about himself there. And I believe that's Crumpkin, a man who we jumped on for a practice race last night, and I was 6.5 seconds quicker than Crumpkin, and I haven't played this game for about 6 months. But anyway, it's great to have your company. Like Rob Maverick Spicy Boy said, it's round 8 of this championship here at the Singapore Grand Prix. This place first hosting a race back in 2008, I believe, 23 corners. And it is a really shit of a place if you get it wrong around here, boys. And I've got to say, used to have had plenty of experience around here, and this place can really bite you in the arse if you're not careful.
Yeah, no, it's a rough circuit, really hot as well. If you tend to overdrive your car, your tyres go off pretty much within at least 5 laps, especially with the hard tyres as well. It's you're trying to push as much as you can with a slower tyre, and you just end up overcooking them. And it's not an easy place to drive around here, as I'm sure that Bradley would know.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and definitely not an easy place to overtake either. So it'll be interesting to see who can get the overtakes done and where they do them. One thing I will say is I am not a fan of the new complex where the Singapore Sling used to be. I was a fan of the Singapore Sling.
Yes, same here actually. Yeah, a bit of a shame they got rid of that particular corner. Used to make it more interesting. I think there was a Force India that flew over there a few years ago. But tonight's race, first of all, anybody who's new to this SRL Championship, big welcome to you all. This is the PS4 League, and we've also got leagues on Xbox One and PC. For anybody who's interested, head to the website for more details. Tonight's race, boys, short qualifying, 18 minutes, strict corner cutting. So watch out for those corner cutting penalties. 50% race, which is 31 laps. Damage is on full, not simulation, but still, you better be careful around this circuit. Like we said, 18-minute qualifying session about to get underway as we speak. And looking at this championship, it's still very close at the top. Harry, Ryan, DRC, Jared, and BK still in there as well. And then it sort of trails off a bit after that as we wait for the drivers to come out on the circuit. And what are we looking for tonight, fellas? This track, strict corner cutting. We're going to see some corner cutting penalties here, aren't we?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple penalties, especially at the Singapore Sling. That would be a very interesting place. Not only a time penalty or anything like that, but the penalty of getting damage is really, really big there. The amount of speed they carry in there, even before they change that corner, Trev, you can carry so much speed in there, and if you get a little bit of oversteer, you know, or a little bit of understeer, it can be a really rough time for you.
Certainly can. And Brad, you've done a few laps around here as well. What are some of the more challenging corners or sectors on this circuit?
I'd say the most challenging sector on this lap is definitely the last sector, where it's so tight and so close to the walls. As we've seen earlier this year, Valtteri Bottas actually had a moment there in one of the practice sessions. So it'll be interesting to see if our boys can keep them off the walls, and the guys that are able to do that are going to prosper the most.
They certainly are, as these comments are coming in thick and fast. 10 people watching this stream, 3 commentators. The 3 Musketeers are up and about tonight, as James Barton says, I got you back in the Red Bull, Rob Dog. DRC Jared says, g'day, g'day, how you going? BK says, glad Robbie can't take me out this week.
I wouldn't take him out anyway. He's a little bit too cheap a date for me.
Oh, yes. A bit of salt there from BK. And Wilco saying, hey, Jared, these comments absolutely just terrific, aren't they? Hi, I'm Kane's friend. Well, only friend, actually. Kane talking about himself there. Yeah, that's a little bit of a concern. As Wilco says, Jared, you have to do a 5-stop handicap race. Some of us are just handicapped without doing that. And Wilco, dry race. So Wilco up and about with the weather report, fellas. A little bit annoyed that it's a dry race, but still it's going to have its challenges. As Cart Dude says, if Rob's on commentary, can we expect Nazi jokes? Well, it's funny you say that, because we've actually got a list of do's and don'ts here, Rob, but I haven't read it, and I doubt I will throughout the course of the evening.
I mean, what's the point of do's and don'ts? And I'm sure that Bradley can probably do a lot of don'ts for us tonight ourselves. So we don't have to worry about getting in trouble from Wilco. It's Bradley that has to really think about what he's going to do tonight.
Oh, it's me. Okay, well, this is interesting. I would just like to point out, we did have Danielson leave the session, and he was able to get back in, so there will be no restart of the session either.
Fantastic stuff. Bradley Marshall, I don't know what your job is, Brad, tonight. I guess we've all got the same gig, but well, I guess we could send Rob down to the pit lane, maybe, if things get a little bit quiet. And he said you could be on the sky pad, Rob. We never know, but here we go. So
better than Anthony Davidson.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But 12 people watching the stream tonight. Great to have everybody's company. Don't be shy. Get your comments in. And I'm wondering whether engine noises are coming through or not. Please let us know in the comments on the live stream, as we're riding on board with Compact now in the Red Bull. And boy, what is the strategy here? What is the ultimate strategy, fellas? We've got hard, medium and soft tyres. The hard tyre a fair bit slower than the medium and a lot slower than the soft. Is it softs to mediums or mediums to hard? Are we looking at a 1 or a 2-stop race?
I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, I guess these guys will definitely be qualifying on a soft tyre here, but me personally, I've been finding a bit of luck with the hard tyres, and considering it's a very, very hot race, the hards are the ones you really, really want to be on. As I said earlier in the broadcast, you do have to, you don't want to overdrive the hards, but in terms of heat management, I think they're going to be the easiest tyre to drive on tonight.
Certainly will be, as Compact comes across the line to set his quick lap. It's a 1:37.992, so we're expecting pole to be high 1:35s, low 36s if it is dry, which of course it is. And most will run the soft tyres in quali, but in the race they'll only last 5 to 7 laps. Speaking of strategy, I've just discovered the the race notes, which Wilco was kind enough to send us before I asked that question about strategy. 1 or 2 stop, fairly even on time, but of course it is hard to pass here, as Big Crosso Samuel Crossingham says, calling it now, Wilco involved in a turn 1 crash and can't do to take the win, as Big Donga 619, he's gone a lot quicker, hasn't he? A 1:36.448. And BK, so Renault 1 and 2, but like we saw in Germany a couple of weeks ago, Brad, that means absolutely nothing, does it?
It definitely doesn't. Those two unfortunately had contact in Germany, which allowed our man on commentary tonight, Rob, to actually pick up the podium position there. So anything's possible in a race, and I mean, we have seen a little lap 1 contact throughout the season. So we've got the Renault boys back this week. They weren't here last week, so they've been reinstated at Renault. As Wilco's just had a bit of a moment on his hot lap there, so he's going to pull that off maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a moment there, but I'd like to say it's not just lap 1 incidents you got to look out for, it's lap 21 incidents as well, boys, and I've got to say that those Renaults do look pretty strong around here, and that race in Germany, I'm calling that a win for me, considering that DRC Jared was in that race, so I'm calling that a emotional win, mate.
Certainly is. We're here for you, brother. Are you okay? We've probably had the Are You Okay day, but as long as you're not a sauerkraut, that's all we are looking for. Is 11 and a half minutes to go in this session, and what can Wilco do? We're still riding on board with the man in the Ferrari, and it's going to be interesting to see Tooley, his teammate, just currently on his out lap now. Very, very difficult to pass at this circuit, of course, like we mentioned. And you'll have to either make a dive or wait for a mistake. And that pit entry can also be a tad tricky, fellas. It's sort of a little dinky little left and then a left again. And sometimes if you get it wrong, you can almost come back out onto the racing line, can't you, coming through that final corner? So it's one that's very difficult to get right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... Look, it's not too bad, especially if you do enough laps around here, but... Yeah, as you said, Trev, it is a bit tricky. It's very tight as well coming in. It's sort of, I don't want to, at the risk of sounding like Mark Scaife, it's kind of Spa-esque where the pit lane there is very, very tight, and yeah, one little mistake can lead to a bit of a repair in the pits. But yeah, and also I've noticed on this game as well, the pit entry line is actually a little bit further from where the line is, so a little bit of time can be made up tonight in the pits. I'm assuming if people do know about that, which I just opened my big old mouth about, so hopefully these boys are pushing it into the pits tonight.
And as Cart Dude says, love you, Crosser. Yeah, they do now, don't they? But this track, 23 corners, the most on the F1 calendar, I'm sure, maybe. No, I'm probably wrong. Someone will correct me, no doubt, on the comments. As Big Dick Johnson, our man, your man, oh, look how close it is. These times are starting to tumble, and have a look at that. We've got two drivers in the 136s at the moment. Then it's Honest Crook down to Compact. So 3rd to 7th, all in the 37s, and those times are very close, fellas.
They definitely are. And one thing I would just like to point out is don't take Wilco's lap as his lap. He did have a moment during that lap time, so I expect Wilco to go a bit quicker. We do have DRC Jared on the halves as well, so definitely expect him to go a lot quicker. We'll have to wait and see what the other guys that haven't set a lap time are able to do, but it's going to be a mad rush at the end of this session, I reckon, to see who gets that pole time.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that there, Brad. I was going to mention that myself, DRC Jared on the hards there. I don't know if he's just taking the piss or not. I just watched him miss the pit lane myself, but that might actually be a very, very smart strategy for him. Just starting on the hards and just playing the little waiting game. Just wait for those boys on the soft to either overheat the tyres or having them come in for a pit stop, and him just cruising on for another 20-odd laps. So that might be a very, very smart move from that man.
It could be, as there's just some, Cart Dude and Crosso get a room there in the comment section as we see Danielson come into the pits. So we've got 8.5 minutes left in this session now. 7 drivers have set a time and 5 are yet to set a time. 12 drivers here tonight for this 31-lap race of the Singapore Grand Prix. And cast your minds back, of course, that first race, like we mentioned, 2008. And it was a bit of a controversial one, wasn't it, Rob? Fernando Alonso benefited from the safety car. I think it was it PK Jr. who crashed, and Alonso was the main beneficiary on that night. A very spicy race, you might say, way back in 2008 around here.
Very spicy indeed. In fact, there was a very big moment as well when Piquet. I can't remember what his name is. PK Junior. Yeah, I've had a couple of floppies, I'll be honest, but PK Junior, he kind of ruined his career for doing that. I mean, I remember him being actually quite on the pace in that Renault compared with Alonso, so that was a big career-defining moment for that man. But yeah, I mean, they were really heavily penalised for that, and nothing big happened around Alonso until Germany 2010 with Felipe Massa. But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting circuit. It's had a bit of a history so far. I do remember Mark Webber giving Hamilton the old biffo, and Hamilton pretty much losing that year's championship just with that little incident as well.
Yes, and who could forget? I think it was Michael Schumacher here in one of his, might have been the last
2012.
Yeah, was it up
the back of John Eric Verne?
Up the back of Verne. And I think then Michael thought that it might be time to call it a day as we have a look at Tooley. Oh, what can Tooley do? Well, I can tell you what he can do. He's got a 130. He's done a 139.399. Lots of threes, lots of nines there. But that is that's a long way off. About 3 or so seconds off of the provisional pole position time, as Kane says, how shit is Kane at this game? Well, the answer is we don't know yet. Well, I'll try and be nice here, fellas, but he's not set a lap. But like I mentioned last night, I was 6 seconds quicker than him in qualifying, but that's telling you something. But let's keep going through the order then. The Mercedes, neither Mercedes yet to set a time as we ride on board with that man, Crumpkin, who's, I'm not sure how he's typing that, Rob, if he's out on a hot lap, which is a very, it's actually quite scary, isn't it, to think that he's texting and driving. But here we go, Cart Dude says, Crosso, would you go out or fresh tyres to start? I'm not sure what's going on in the comments section below, but another night of hilarity coming up, Roberto.
Yes, another night of hilarity coming up, and of course you should never text and drive, but you should certainly sing songs and send it in a video form to your mates in a commentary chat. That is completely legal and completely safe.
Certainly is. That's what we do, and I'm not sure how they do things up in Nowra. As we see Crumpkin then, he's into the pits now, Brad. It must have just been an installation lap.
It definitely must have been, but something I must point out this season is Crumpkin's definitely had the reputation of not being one of the quickest drivers, and it's definitely kind of earned him the reputation of being called the resident Kubica of this league. I do know that I believe Rob does actually like Kubica, so we may have to rename Crumpkin the new Lorraine Papapane.
Yes, and good old Robert Kubica, he's pretty handy. Isn't he?
But, oh, Jesus.
As Robert Hiskins has joined us. Big Roberto, there's two Robs. Two Robs don't make a right, do they? As Rob Hiskins from Shepparton in Victoria. I know exactly where. He's just opposite the, is it the gun club there at Pine Lodge? Robert, let us know, brother. But big friend of Alan Shep, and Alan Shep, Roberto, a good friend of this stream, as well as Kane Leishman says this is Kane's friend Jazza, who is logging into his YouTube account and writing comments on his behalf while his friend Crumpkin drives around the track. If you can work all that out, you're a better man than me, Rob. We've got 4.5 minutes in this session remaining. Who can you see improving and who can you see taking pole?
Well, I mean, Wilco hasn't actually done that many laps, so there we go. Wilco on pole so far, and let's not discount DRC Jared, for he does like to take the piss out of the league. I also like to take the piss out of the league, and it's a pity that a certain Mercedes driver is not here tonight. Don't know why he's disappeared. It must be a quite bad rectal examination he received last week, as I just got fired from my commentary position. I'll hand it back over to Brad.
We've just got word from Sky Sports, and yeah, he's just got the boot. So, you were just talking about Jared taking a piss, and I would like to point out he's just done a lap on the mediums, and he's absolutely smashed Wilco by about a second. So that's really unfortunate for these guys that Jared is a second quicker on those medium tyres. I believe that pole is set and done, and he's on the better tyre to run longer into this race. So it's unfortunate for these guys. They're going to be playing second fiddle to Jared once again.
Yep. I reckon these boys, geez, talk about timing. Wilco set that lap, didn't he? He was probably feeling pretty good about himself, actually, and then DRC Jared on the medium tyres, like you mentioned, Brad, went through and did a 135.3. They might need some cream for that, I reckon, after that, those other boys. We've got 4 guys in the 36s. We've got, 6 down to 8. So Big Dick Johnson, a man who we christened Rob on a previous championship and a previous game. Oh, boy. Speaking of Nazi jokes. But down to 9th then is Tooley then with a 1:39.399. What do you get if you cross a Mexican with a German? You get a Wiener Schnitzel. And that's what you can expect throughout the rest of this evening as DRC Jared comes into the pits. He's just about done, Bradley. He says, you know what, piss off, I don't need to do anything else with 2 and a bit minutes remaining.
He's definitely just told everybody to piss off. He's gone back into the pits. Don't be surprised if he tries to take the piss from these guys and get out there again to just set one more lap on those top tires. Another thing I would like to point out, we have Can't Dude that did retire. He'll be starting at the back of the grid, but he has a free tyre choice. So don't be surprised if he whacks on those hard tyres to run a fair way into this race. It may bring him right back into this race.
It's almost like a real Williams, isn't it, boys? Starting at the back and moving their way up on the hard tyres for the other drivers to pit and then overtake them. And then overtake them again as lap traffic.
They had a good battle in Mexico, didn't they? Old George Russell and your man Robert Kubica. But as Crosso says, avoid the turn 1 crash. There's a bit of a theme there, Crosso. Does he know something we don't? But I'm sure he's a pretty good chance. You never know around this place of a turn 1 crash. Kane, or is it Jizza or Jazza, whatever your name is.
That's fucked up.
He says, yes. Well, I don't think we can say that one. But
I'll say it because I'm already fired. So why did the guitarist go to jail? He fingered A minor.
Yes. As moving right along, as Jizza, we're going to ride with your man, Jazza, I mean, whatever your name is. But Wilco, Jared absolutely taking the piss, says Wilco. And Big Crosso, LOL, love you, brother. And yes, I do live in Pine Lodge. I'm not sure how I know that, Roberto, but East Shepparton, of course, on the way into Shep. Very close to where I live, as we've got seconds remaining as Crumpkin. I could have walked around the track quicker. Sets at 1:43.568, but never mind about that because he's out there having a go, and somebody, judging by that, I reckon somebody's made a meal of it somewhere, Rob.
Yeah, it was Compact, my number 2, just coming across the bridge there, and he's got sideways and put the car in, the front of the car into the wall. It's really unfortunate, actually, because that car looked pretty pacey on that one lap there, so it's a little bit of bad luck, but, I mean, considering that he's starting 8th and he might be able to avoid all the drama in the turn 1, that might be a bit of a blessing in the disguise there.
It's a funny one, isn't it, Brad, around this place as we see qualifying come to an end and Danielson decide to park his car somewhere halfway around the track. He's off to get some Singapore noodles, but it's a funny one, isn't it, Brad, around these street circuits with a large field of cars. It's almost sometimes better off, you're almost better off starting at the back, aren't you, if you're not at the front, to avoid the carnage.
Yeah, you definitely are. You just avoid everything that happens as, Big Donga's just had a moment. On his quality lap there. I believe BK is behind. No, BK's coming around. BK's finished his lap. So, unfortunate for Big Donga there. He's had a bit of a moment, so he's not going to be able to improve. But, yeah, like you were saying, sometimes it is an advantage to start at the back here. I believe they haven't had a single man start from pole and win from pole at Singapore in its history, I believe, which is absolutely crazy, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know about you, Roberto. That is a huge statistic. As I try and distract Rob Maverick Spicy Boy from Kane's latest joke there on the stream. I don't know whether we can go with that one as we take a look at the qualifying results. Big Jared, Big Jazza taking the piss on medium tyres. They're almost going a second quicker. Wilco down there in P2. Still a front row start for our man, Big Donga, BK. And the 2 Renaults there, 3rd and 4th, Honest Crook, Big Dick Johnson, Danielson, Compact Tooley. The screen's gone now, but Tooley in 9th, Crumpkin in 10th, Mozza in 11th, and Cart Dude being very cheeky there, starting from the back. We have got 31 laps of absolute carnage And I'm sure, hopefully, fellas, we don't see Jared off in his own Tier 1 race, leaving the other boys to fight it out. But what are we expecting here? What's going through your mind as you're waiting for that loading screen to finish before a race here at Singapore?
Well, one thing that's going through my mind is I'm kind of upset they had to patch the fact that lap traffic now ghosts when a leader goes past, and that would have been really handy for our DRC Jared tonight. But I mean, the dude's super duper quick. I mean, no doubting his talent as well. But yeah, I mean, God, who's going to get second? Really, who's going to win second? That's the question we're really thinking here. And Wilco's got some real pace in that Fezzer tonight. And Cardi, you know, he's got that strategy where he just wants to run long tonight. So, you know, there's multiple people. Big Dog Jono, Big BDJ. You can't discount that old boy.
You certainly can't. As Crosso wants to know, did Cart Dude make the 109% speed? But is it the 107%?
It's 107% rule, yeah.
It used to be the 107% rule, from what I can remember back in F1. But to answer your question, I don't think Crumpkin made it, but Cart Dude electing to retire. So I'm guessing we'll give Cart Dude a start. We'll give Cart Dude a start on previous form. Isn't that what they usually do? I remember, you boys probably aren't old enough to remember, but back in the mid to late 90s, I think they used to have the pay drivers, and yeah, a lot of them would fail to meet that 107% rule because they were pretty much useless. But, well, to answer your question, we've got all the drivers starting tonight as, like we said, 31 laps as we see a great shot of our pole sitter, DRC Jared. And I've got to ask the question, fellas, as we get ready to go racing here tonight. What can Wilco do? What will Wilco do? Will he just decide to sign, seal, and deliver it up the inside into turn 1? Will he make a move?
Sorry, Rob.
No, you go ahead, mate. I want to hear your sultry tones, mate.
I don't know. Wilco could play this in one of two ways. He could decide to fully send it on Jared into turn 1. And risk contact, or he could just stay back and sit behind Jared, get a bit of the DRS. I mean, his real flight, to be honest, is with the guys behind him. I do expect Jared to just drive off into the sunset. You know, a few times this season he's stopped off, been to Buckingham Palace and, you know, waved at the Queen and everything like that. So, yeah, I believe Wilco's race is for second position probably, unless Jared has a bit of trouble here or there. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I mean, the big thing is, though, boys, that Wilco really needs to actually make that move. He's on the soft tyres compared to DSC Jared, and I mean, Wilco's talked for a little while now that he wants to get a win, and he was on pole in Australia at the start of this league. Don't you forget that. So this man really does want to get that race win, and I mean, he's got soft tyres compared to DRC Jared's medium, so he either has to really set it up the inside, make a move, and try and build a little bit of a gap earlier on, or just sit behind DRC Jared and in that dirty air and really wear those fronts out. So he's got to really make that move in the first at least 3 laps.
All right, here we go, boys. Thank you, and we are ready to go racing as there's a McLaren and Cart Dude. Cart Dude and Mozza are good enough to join us on the starting grid tonight. There we go, down the back. As, like we said, round 8 of this championship, 31 laps around Singapore. And we are getting ready to go racing here tonight. As it said, there was a yellow flag in sector 1, but never mind about that. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Go, go, go for Singapore. As, Big Donga makes a good start. He already jumps Wilco there, but Wilco, there's contact and he's around.
Big Donga.
Wilco and Big Donga make contact there, Roberto, into turn 1, and DRC Jared, the man who we didn't want to get through turn 1 cleanly. Oh, did I say that? Yes, I did. He gets through, so it's DRC Jared, then BK in second place. And Wilco is dropping down the timing sheets, and there's contact. There's a Haas off at the back. Haas off. And Crumpkin there as well, where he likes to be, down there in P12. But what a hectic start, Roberto, to this one.
Yeah, that was really hectic, and I've got to say that maybe BK, I'm pretty sure that was BK in the Renault in front of Wilco, they maybe made a little bit of a late move into that braking zone there on Wilco, and Wilco really didn't have anywhere to go. But we'll have to look at the replays for that one. But yeah, BK getting 2 positions on that start. So did Honest Crook. So yeah, these boys are really pushing now, and Honest Crook has actually been really impressive in that Haas. Of course, I took his seat in the Red Bull, and he moved on to Haas. And yeah, he's doing a great job there. But Big Dog Jono up 2 positions as well, so he's well and truly in the fight for second as well. And it's kind of sad that we have to say that, and as I say that, Crump has retired from the race.
Yes, it's probably for the best though, Crumpkin. Better luck next time as DRC Jarrett streaking away at the front. And I've got to say, we'd just like to make a special mention to Crosso there, who actually called it turn one, I should say.
Whoa, BK's in the wall.
Oh my goodness, BK is around, fellas, and this is absolutely shocking news for Renault because he's lost his front wing. He'll have to make a stop. Will he go onto the hard tyres? Can he even get that thing into the pit lane, Bradley?
It's going to be a bit of a struggle, and yeah, that's really cost him. He's going to have to replace that front wing. He'll probably want to chuck on those hard tyres, stretch them out as long as he can. We're just waiting to see what he's going to put on. He's put on the medium tyres, it looks like, so he's going to have to run them as far as possible. Just a bit of lap 1 contact. Card Dude tried to go for a bit of an audacious move on Tooley into turn 4, I believe. Made a bit of contact, that's what spun him around. And just unfortunate for Wilco at the start there. The guys around him just getting a bit better of a start because of the medium traction that they use. So that's unfortunate for Wilco, but he's back up in 4th position behind Jono, and we'll just wait and see what he can do as we have another retirement, and that was Tooley.
Well, 12 drivers started this race and 10 are left. And we're only on lap 2 out of 31 as there's a big battle going on here. There's a big sound from the western. No, we can't say that. They didn't do that well in the grand final. But Card Dude up to 7th, fellas. 5 places off the grid. Mozza there with him. And as we see the Mercedes, I should say, 5th and 6th. And Wilco, after dropping 2 places off the start, he's pretty nicely paced at the moment, though. Placed, I should say, down there in 4th, as DRC Jared doing what he does best with a 141.0. That's about my qualifying times around this track. But anyway, oh, Big Dick Johnson making a move down the inside. He gets it done, Roberto.
What a move! And you can see that was signed, sealed, and delivered pretty early on as well. And honestly, Honest Crook didn't really fight that hard for it, but that's a big move going into there, considering that it's a very fast corner, and on the inside of the corner there, your front tends to wash out. So, yeah, that's a big balls from Big Dick Jono, I gotta say.
Here we go. Wilco down.
Wilco going for a move right now. It's tight between these two.
Is he going to make it stick, Bradley?
He has.
He's done it, I reckon.
Oh, that looked like the barrier was sticking out there for a minute. Did anyone else just see that?
No.
Singapore's an interesting place. We do have giant monitor lizards that run across the track, so I'm sure there's live barriers as well.
Yes, there's a lizard on the track. Yes, that's right, Godzilla. Okay, as Wilco up to 3rd, then Big Dick Johnson. 2 of our favourites there, Big Dick Johnson and Wilco, with DRC Jarrett still way out in front. Is that 7.8 seconds? Am I seeing that right, fellas?
Yeah. Unfortunately, you are seeing that right. He's just pulled a massive gap out on those medium tyres, and he's just going to be able to consolidate this and run this stint out for as long as he wants. He's in fresh air. He can just go at a pace that he wants to go, and it's unfortunate for the boys behind him on those soft tyres because everyone behind them are running on the medium tyres.
Well, I've got to say, as V8 Man 51 says, my man Jono, he's not just your man, Dane, up there in Brisbane in Queensland. He's our man. He's a man of the people, is Big Dick Johnson. Not sure whether he actually likes that name, Roberto, but we actually gave it to him anyway, and he hasn't complained so far.
Yeah, no, I don't really like the name, boys, and if I could gargle some rocks this morning, smoked a pack of Winnie Blues this morning as well, and I'm feeling really fresh for this race, mate.
Yeah, thank you, Jono, there, live and exclusive on the team radio there. That one was for you, Dane. I know you heard it out there. I know, I can tell. As this man, he's not impartial to a few corner-cutting penalties, though, and with strict corner-cutting on, he better keep an eye on that. As Crosso there, what up V8 man, he says. But let's just recap now as DRC Jared pulling out at, what's that, about 3 seconds a lap or something. 2 and a bit seconds a lap. Then it's Big Dick Johnson in second. Wilco playing with himself in third place there. I didn't mean to say it like that. It just didn't quite come out right. But Cart Dude, who's your driver of the day so far up there in fourth? And then it's Mozza. The two guys who were on the last row of the grid. Of course, up in fourth and fifth. That's not a bad effort in the early going, fellas.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And I've got to say, DRC Jared is pulling out better than you and I, Trev. So he's very, very impressive. But I can't believe I said that.
It wouldn't be. Oh, I'll leave it there. But anyway, lap 5 out of 31. Get back to those German jokes in a second if we're not careful. But it's Mozza. I'll just keep going, Rob. You've got your ban. And boy, the Renaults for the second... well, we've seen it before, haven't we? They're 6th and 9th. And they've dropped all sorts of places at the moment. Danielson there. So it's Honest Crook. I'm laughing again. But anyway, Honest Crook in 8th. BK in 9th there. Compact in 10th. And, well, that is the state of play at the moment. I guess the next question is going to be strategy as we get the old heads-up display happening here. We might just see what tyres these guys are on. And there we go. So we've got two drivers on the soft tyres. The rest are on mediums. And boy, is Jared there. He's cutting it very fine. It's like a work of art watching him go around that track in the Toro Rosso. But what can these other guys do? Can they do anything to put any sort of pressure on DRC Jared, Brad? Is there anything these guys can do? The gap's 13 seconds. Is it just a matter of going as long as you can and hoping for a safety car?
Yeah, it's unfortunate for these boys because Jared is just in another tier when it comes to these other drivers, and it's just unfortunate for them. He's pulling out a load of time on these guys that he may even have a pit stop in hand by the time that he pits. Unless there's a crash on the racing line and a safety car does come out, that's the only way I'm going to see these guys get close to Jared. It's unfortunate, we've only had one safety car this season when there's been multiple crashes on the racing line and there's been no safety car activated, so that's unfortunate. Another thing I'd like to point out, I did see Big Donga make contact with the wall, and another thing I would also like to point out, I do have a visual glitch at one of the corners on this track where the barrier is actually poking out on the track. And the cars are hitting it on my screen, but there is no damage to those cars. So I'm seeing a barrier that you two are not seeing.
Well, I mean, that's incredibly weird, but here's one thing I'd like to actually point out as well. Cart Dude is 1.5 seconds quicker than Wilco on the hard tyres, so, sorry, on the medium tyres, so Wilco's really, really struggling now, and you can see actually Cart Dude is right on the gearbox of Wilco now, so this could be on, boys.
He is right up his ginger, no doubt about that. As Grinner, another one of Big Shep's friends, says, "G'day from Berwick." And great to have
Cart Dude's making a move.
Oh, Cart Dude. Down the inside.
Down the inside. Oh, squeeze him a little bit
Jesus,
wide.
look at this. Oh, contact.
Contact.
Wilco, as he's come out of that okay. I thought he was going to spin there for a moment, but never mind about that. And Cart Dude up to third place. Unbelievable. You called it, Rob, and he is through. And have a look at the gap he's pulling out already.
Yeah, that's ridiculous pace there. So Big Dog Jono, he's about 7/10 slower than Cardi on 1 lap pace. So this could be very interesting in about 2 laps time. So I'm going to keep an eye on this battle. But looking through the field at the moment with the intervals, I've got to say that Mozza might be pretty close as well, but Danielson, Big Donga, there's a little battle going down there, about 3/10 in age. You can see Honest Crook is also in that battle, so this could be a very spicy one as well.
6th, 7th and 8th all together. We've got the Renault, the Merc as there's a
Wilco's
move.
down! Oh, he's in the
Ooh.
pits. The big dog jello and Wilco's are in the pits, so it could be very interesting to see what tyres they're going to put on here, boys.
Special mention, Bradley, as well to that helmet design, of course. We spoke off air, didn't we? Wilco very proud of his helmet design there in the Ferrari. Sort of a jazzy-looking chrome purple number. I've got to say, I don't mind it, but it's not exactly my cup of tea, Brad.
Might not be your cup of tea. I did give him a little helping hand. He did refer to me on which design I like the most. When the purple lights up underneath these lights, I gotta say it's a pretty schmick helmet. Definitely not a colour that I would roll with myself, as I use the Art and Centre helmet, and we'll always use the Art and Centre helmet. We've got these boys on the medium tyres now, with everybody on the medium tyres. Unfortunately for the guys on the softs, I believe their tyres just ran out too quick, and we'll just have to see if Jono and Wilco can pull the time back on Mosley and Cartwood ahead.
It's going to be interesting to see as Wilco could have been a little bit harsh there on that helmet design. It's actually not that bad. It's warming to me as where did Wilco...
Oh, Danielson just clipped the wall down. Well, riding on board with Danielson, you can see he's very, very pointy into the corners, but a little bit slower into the faster stuff. Big Donger, really, really extremely wide there, but they're both actually quite wide there, so they've both got the same sort of driving line going down to this, from not really long straight, but oh yeah, he's really struggling in that turbulent air now. Big Donger keeping position, but that Merc looks incredibly quick in a straight line, so this is really one to watch out for.
Certainly is, as they're getting very, very close, and BK is fast approaching that little battle. We love it. We love this sort of stuff. That's what we want to see. 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th as well. All there together as compact further down the order. But DRC Jared, he's got that pit stop that we spoke about in his pocket. So he can just, well, he can decide to do it. He can do whatever he wants, really, can't he? He can run long. He can pit now. He can do whatever he wants. But Cartdude now up to 2nd. Oh, and Cartdude has a moment there as we ride on board with him. And going into whatever corner that is, approaching the old Singapore sling, I think it is. But I've got to say, I do miss that corner, Brad. It was the scene of some action over the years, wasn't it, while it was there?
Yeah, it definitely was. Definitely one of my favourite corners to take as well in the older F1 games. It was really unfortunate for myself seeing it go. I mean, the drivers do prefer it now, how it is, but I've got to say, as a racing fan, I like challenging parts on the track, and it was definitely a challenging part of the track.
So we're expecting as Wilco stop everything. Wilco getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there. And it's a funny thing, these time penalties, isn't it, Robbie? Because once you get one, you see you can go almost a whole race without getting them. But once you get them, the mind games, starts to mess with your head, doesn't it? And you seem to rack up more and more of them. Yeah,
you do tend to psych yourself out, and you try and really, really push the limits as extremely as you can just to get that last little bit of time out of your car, but sometimes you go over it, and then for unknown reasons, you just keep pushing it to the max, and you end up with a few penalties, like a few of us did in Germany, really, really pushing the track limits there, and yeah, just really racking them up. And I'm just watching, Danielson's very, very quick in Sector 2, but in Sector 1 and 3, he's quite slow, and actually Honest Crook is riding his gearbox there, so he's getting, Danielson's getting close to Big Donner in Sector 2, but Crookie is looking to make some moves in Sector 1 and 3.
This is what we said, as Danielson gets a 3-second time penalty now, so these boys are falling foul, aren't they, of the strict corner cutting, as all this... BK is through. I saw the hand go up. Oh, what's the matter, you? As BK is through, and now,
that was a bit of a rough pass, I've got to say, from BK, because he got pushed a little bit wide there. So, yeah, that might be one the stewards might be looking into after.
Yes, after what happened last week.
Contact!
And there's contact. And what happened there, Brad?
So Danielson had a bit of a moment out of the corner, slid the rear end out, and BK just sent it up his inside. Danielson come to turn in, and he's unfortunately lost a bit of his end plate, so that won't do anything for him with downforce here. Another thing I'd like to point out is Honest Cook does have a 3-second time penalty. It popped up just after Wilco's did. But we've got both the Renault boys close to each other, and every time they get close to each other, there seems to be a bit of contact between them.
There certainly is, and well, when you think about pit stop strategy around here, Spicy Boy, I've got to ask the question. It's very hard to pass. We've mentioned that. And is there any sort of temptation, I guess you might say, to try and perform an undercut? Is there an undercut here? Is it very powerful?
I mean, that really depends on track temperature, and it's quite weird, actually. If the track temperature is around about 30 degrees, the undercut usually does tend to work, especially if you're running a softer tyre setup, as BK goes for another time penalty there. So a couple little risky overtakes and a few time penalties coming his way. So coming up to his teammate as well. So there might be a few Renaults in the wall like in 2008. But yeah, I mean, it's a big question, isn't it? Is your car going to be better in the colder conditions with softer tyres? Your car going to be better in the warmer conditions with the harder tyres? So it's a big question, and really depending on car setup as well. I mean, Car Dude's car is looking mega quick as he sits in second with mediums on. So you've got to say that maybe Car Dude is going to go for the longer run and probably end up putting on the hards, because that's the way he wants to go. And honestly, I don't see him losing any track position at this point. Where Mozza, I think he started the race on softs, and now he doesn't really have much flexibility to play with, unlike Kart Dude. So, well, what do you do for your Mozza? Do you put the hard tyres on and take the risk of Wilco putting on another pair of medium tyres or soft tyres at the end of the race and getting overtaken? So, will the undercut work? Probably not. The one is to look out for is probably the overcut. The boys will be looking at that one very seriously.
Will the overcut, Roberto, stay out longer? Interesting question. Lap 11 out of 31. It's Dowsey Jared by 24 seconds as the two Renaults. I thought there was a move there as Big Dick Johnson gets a time penalty and Big Donga is into the pits. We'll stay with this as he comes in for what I'm guessing is his first stop of the afternoon. And Big Alan Shep has been good enough to join us, our number one ticket holder, fellas, here at the SRL Kid Buyers live streams. He says a very big hello from Sinbad's Bar, 111 Linton Place in Scoresby Village in Victoria, 3179. And the big man liking Sinbad's on a Thursday night, I'm sure. With women around him, hanging off him, probably having a frothy or two. In fact, I'm sure, Roberto, he would be having a frothy or two. Great friend of the live stream.
Yeah, great friend of the live stream, and I do quite enjoy when Wilco gets into the chat and he old Shep does make a phone call. We all get to talk to Shep. It's always pretty entertaining. So hopefully Shep's having a good couple of frothies. Hopefully a couple of frothies for us. I'm having a couple of frothies for myself as well, but yeah, we all love Big Shep, and I've got to say, those videos that Wilco sends Big Shep, I always look forward to those, especially when Shep was pissing himself laughing because he locked the car door on Wilco and then he couldn't open the car door. So the man is a comedian, a comic genius, if you will.
Exactly. As Mozza comes in, I've got to totally agree with you there, and of course those two, plenty of hilarity as well. They work together, of course, great friends, same birthday, but 30 years apart, I think, Wilco and Big Shep. As, boy, am I digressing somewhat. But I saw the other video, Roberto, of course, of, I think Wilco set up a few boxes outside of the men's toilets.
Ah, yes.
Which Big Shep proceeded to go through on his way out of the lavatory. But enough about that, as Mozza coming back on a funny sort of way there. Mozza coming out of the pits. I reckon he would have got the old warning there for coming across that white line. In fact, he didn't just come across that white line. He went pretty much cut through turn one there, but he's back out into 6th place. Honest Crook 7th as Danielson, the second Merc, into the pits and out of the pits. So Mozza on hard tyres. The rest of the field now sticking with the mediums. As Donga, Danielson on the hard tyres. Compact retires from the session. So 3 drivers now have retired from this race. So, well, everybody running before Compact retired would have scored a point, but now Bradley guaranteed points finishes for everyone who can at least finish tonight.
Yeah, guaranteed points for everyone that finishes, and I've got to say, this is what you aim for as a driver, is a solid points finish. So congratulations to everyone that's going to finish the race. They're going to be getting some points. One thing I would like to point out, we did miss the move between Wilco and Jono. And I believe that Compact must have crashed in the last sector there, because there was a yellow flag still in sector.
Yes, there's 13 out.
Wilco might be getting another position here as well. Cardude has actually come into the pit lane, so Wilco is going to overtake Cardude while he's in the pit lane, and so will Big Dick Jono. So where will Cardi come out?
Where is he going to come out here? That is the question. And whereabouts BK Mozza and Honest Crook, that battle? No, they're just coming. BK's just coming onto the start finish straight at the moment. So Cardude's going to be all right here. So he's on the hard tyres, and he will be going through to the end of this race. From to Warsaw in one tank, I reckon, Rob. Here with, what do we got, 18 or so laps to go. As Cardude in the Williams. That's the highest we've seen at Williams for a long, long time, since the great days of Pastor Maldonado. And BK in 5th, Mozza in 6th, Honest Crook in 7th as Danielson. It must be a commentator's curse or something. Every time I go onto these drivers, they get a 3-second penalty just about when I flick to them on the directing thing that I'm doing here. But I've got to say, dry weather conditions here tonight as DRC Jared into the pits, fellas.
Yes, DRC Jared is in the pits, and Wilco was doing a good job as well.
Certainly is. Bradley, what tyres do you reckon are we going to see Jared go on to, or does it matter?
I believe he'll go onto the hards, just like Cardude and Mozza, just to conserve that lead. I mean, he will come out with a substantial lead still. And, interesting. Cardude didn't come out too far behind Jono and Wilco, so he's going to be able to run those hard tyres to the end, with Wilco and Jono definitely needing to make another stop. It's going to be a fight back from those guys to get to Cardude. I believe Cardude's going to have the gap in hand when it comes to it. Although, it looked like Cardude dropped a bunch of time there, unless all the guys' times are just resetting because Jared's just coming out of the pits, so that's what's going on there.
There we go.
Just to spice the race up, do you ever wish you were watching Formula 1, especially a boring race? I'm not saying this is a boring race, but you watch, like, I don't know, the Australian Grand Prix this year, and you just think, I wish there was something drastic that happened, like a war breaking out or maybe a terror attack. Like, I could really go for some Japanese Jab Zeros bombing Singapore right now.
Yes, they've done it before, Roberto. Let's hope they do it again, because nothing is actually, it's fuck all happening here tonight. And we're almost at half race distance. But Piston Bro Go 5 says, g'day Trev, g'day, Brad, and did I hear Spicy Boy Rob Dog? Indeed, you did hear Rob Spicy Boy Rob Dog, because he's got a race ban for very subtly removing Harry from the race last week, which leads me to my next point. DRC Jared will take the lead of this championship, won't he? Because Harry, who couldn't quite get over what happened last week, Rob, is not in this race. So Jared will take, no matter what happens, he'll take the championship lead.
Yeah, no matter what happens, he will take the lead. And let's be honest, ever since DRC Jared was in this league when he first started, I think he missed. Ran 8 now. I think he's done 4, maybe 5 races, and Harry's been in the championship from day one, I do believe. So, I think DRC Jared is just the better driver. I think he's just done well. He's look, we hang a lot of shit on him, but he's just incredibly impressive, and it's really fucking annoying. But I mean, Harry has gone off and had a sulk because I did not get permanently banned, and I meant to have an apology letter written here, but I lost it.
As Big Donga has retired, Brad, I wasn't riding on board with that. I was just lost in Roberto's dulcet tones there. But now we've lost 4 drivers. We said this place can come back to bite you in the arse, but I was just looking at the championship standings, Rob, whilst you were dictating your apology letter there. And DRC Jared has raced, well, he's finished 4 times in this championship, and he's won every race he started. And, of course, he's had 3 non-starts, I believe, and he still will be in the lead of this championship. So he's got maximum points on all bar 1 occasion, round 4, where he did not get the fastest lap. He got the win, but he did not get the fastest lap. So other than that, he has maximised on points. And speaking of the devil, he's gone and set a 139.8 on hard tyres, Brad. That is very, very slippery indeed.
Yeah, very slippery, and it's unfortunate for these other guys because they are here to fight for this championship, and when a guy that's just tremendously quick like Jared comes along, and it really puts these guys in their place. Like, you yourself as a driver view yourself as the best. That's how you do it, you know. You wouldn't be racing if you didn't view yourself as one of the best, and when they just come up against Jared, it just really puts into terms that, like, shit, we got to make a lot of ground to improve to get close to Jared.
Yeah, I know the exact feeling. I got that exact same feeling. I thought I was a good commentator, and then when Rob Maverick Spicy Boy stepped in this evening, it's a real reality check, Roberto. But these boys, they've just got to keep their heads up, don't they? And anything can happen as half the race gone, half still to go. Anything can happen, Roberto, and it usually does.
Yes, it usually does. So I'm waiting for the Jab Zeros to fly over Singapore. But, yeah, I mean, DRC Jared's got this one and run pretty much. Unless I don't know, does he crash? Does somebody take him out? We don't know what's going to happen. But the real race here is Wilco, Big Dick Jono and Cardi. They're 2 men who need a pit stop, and Cartu, who's pretty comfortable on tyres, but he'll be slower at the end of the race. So this is going to be very, very, very interesting to see who gets second and third, and BK as well, and Mozza. That's going to be another interesting little battle as well. But it's a pity that my Red Bull teammate crashed out of the race. But I do believe that within the rules of the sport, he does finish 10th, even though he's DNF. So there's some points for our team there as well. But yeah, this field got pretty small pretty quick, didn't it?
Certainly did. We've almost lost half of them, haven't we? Hopefully we get at least half the field finished.
Half the field gone. Anyway.
Half the field gone. 12 drivers started this race and 7 are left. We might have to do something to keep the viewers on. God almighty, 9 people are still watching as Kane Leishman, who's actually Kane's friend, and it's not Kane. It very well could be now because he retired from the race on lap 1. But he says DRC Jared is probably going to win the championship. A very profound prediction there, Rob, which could very well come true. And Piston Broke says, ha ha ha, bah ha ha, Trev. And Big Crosso says, takes me back to the days of Nubs and Dregs. And speaking of Dregs, but Big Dick Johnson, well, this race isn't over for second, I've got to say, Roberto, because like you said, Wilco, and we might just change, let me just fix up the old telemetry here. Where are we here? We might go for the intervals between the drivers rather than the gap to the leader, because that is boring as batshit at the moment. But we have a couple of close battles here, and it will also come down to those time penalties, as well as Stressed Budget Racing says there's nothing on TV. So it's great to have your company. And Kane Leishman says, it's me, Kane, now. Boy, that's just getting more and more confusing, and I've just got this picture of a couple of guys in front of a keyboard, but we'll leave it there. Nothing good happens, says Big Dick Johnson. Oh my goodness me, Cartu getting very, very close to him there, Bradley, and Big Dick Johnson under all sorts of pressure.
Yeah, under all sorts of pressure from Cartu. The rear end coming out on Jono, so maybe just showing a bit of wear on those rear tyres. I'd expect Cartu to stick right behind him here and go for the passing DRS straight into the normal overtaking area on this track, I'd say, where most moves are done. So we'll see if Cardu's
Oh, Cardi gets a little bit of oversteer there. So Big Dog Jono slowed up on the in the mid corner there. And Big Dog Jono just doesn't have the legs on the straight line, but he did the right thing, and he comes back through the corner. Absolutely superb driving. Nobody taking anybody out here deliberately tonight. But you can see Big Dick Jono slowing up in the mid corner there, and Cardi trying to get on the throttle and just lighting up the rears. So missed opportunity there for Cardi, but great defending from BDK there.
Certainly was, and this battle is not over as Big Alan Shep says, I really love the Murray Walker impression. I do it just for you, Shep, as Big Dick Johnson. Oh, he'll be sweating now. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. This is really fucking, yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Sorry for the fucking swearing, but Big Dick Johnson in the McLaren, this will be his best finish of the year. No, it won't. Yes, it will. No, it won't. He's finished third twice. I know, Brad, I'm shocking with this sort of stuff. But lap 19 out of 31. You thought this race was boring, and you were right about a couple of minutes ago. But boy, oh boy, Cardude on the harder tyres. He's done 5 laps on these tyres now, compared to Big Dick Johnson, who's done 11 on those mediums. He'll be able to go to the end. DRS open, the battery open. Cardude.
Oh, big move, and he's trying to go on BDJ. Wow. He's right on the limit there, and you can see Cardi just really having to come out of that one. He's also used a lot of his battery there, so he's on the first battery setting, so he's not going to be incredibly quick down the straight here. But yeah, big defending from BDJ, and Cardi really go for the risky overtake on the outside. No trailer park girls yet, boys. No trailer park girls yet, but boy, this is getting a little bit spicy.
Oh, these boys. I tell you what, as Piston Broke says, he'll be sweating harder than a gypsy with a mortgage. As 12 laps to go until the end of this one. All very clean, all very fair from Big Dick Johnson. BDJ there, moving across. Nothing too untoward happening there. And Cardude paying him the ultimate respect. As Kane says, we should ban DRC Jarrett from racing. Well, that's a good point. But lap 19 now, so this is the battle we're looking
just
for.
Gloss over it.
Just yes, of course. It's all happening here. The battle for third is on. I'm not sure of these penalties, and we can't access the race director. We might just ride on board from that wide shot now, but it is Toro Rosso in first place. Let's just recap here. DRC Jarrett all out on his own, having a cup of tea there. 33 seconds in the lead. Currently with the fastest lap as well, which I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming it is because he's so fucking quick. As Jason Wilco in second there. Our man Wilco, he'll be happy with that. It could be his best result of the season, but I always stuff that up, don't I? Big Dick Johnson, and now Cardude. Oh, Jesus Christ. Getting very close here, Roberto. And is he going to have a go down the back straight again?
I mean, he could have a go, but Wilco and BDJ are actually very close to their pit stops now. They're both on 13-lap-old medium tyres. Cardi's on the 7-lap-old hards now, so yeah, Wilco and Jono might be thinking about going for that pit stop just before BDJ gets overtaken, because if Cardi could get that clean air, I'm sure he's going to be going after Wilco, and it's going to be hard for these two to fight back, but with fresher tyres and that extra car pace, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, this is getting a little bit too tense, almost Spa-esque, if you will.
The tension, the drama, it's all happening here, and I've got to say, we should get you back into the commentary box more often, Roberto. And just, Cardude, Jesus Christ, it's getting close. You can't put a cigarette paper between them all.
I could. No, I could, but BDJ was really wide, and he's gone! He's locked up into the safety zone there, so Cardi's through. And now Big Dick Jono would be thinking about having a pit stop, because that was a big old lock-up.
It certainly was, and could we, I think we've got some team radio, Roberto, from Big Dick Johnson.
Yeah, boys, absolutely fucking stuffed it into the escape road there. I'm going to need some fucking new tyres, maybe a couple of Winnie Boos and the fucking pit stop. Hey, why not fucking give me a beer as well, me fucking cool set? That'd be fucking swell, and Wilco's now in the pits, mate.
As Wilco comes into the pits. It's funny, I actually met Big Dick Johnson in real life, and he didn't seem to talk like that. Maybe it's something with these microphones, I don't know, but there's a McLaren in as well. So he's decided to come out. I'm not kidding, he actually doesn't really talk like that. But that's weird. Anyway, so he comes in, off go the mediums, on go some more mediums, if you don't mind. And that's going to put him, where's that going to put him? Down to 5th place, as Moz are now up to 3rd, as Wilco comes out on fresh medium tyres. So, Brad, I've got to say, we might actually see something happening in the final 10 laps now, with a few pit stops happening.
Yeah, we definitely will. I mean, we've got to look at Jared again, and just, we can't overstate how far this man is in front. He's got 40 seconds on Car Dude, and the next closest guy is a minute behind. It's unheard of. I don't think I've seen anyone this quick in a league before, and I was in TRL with Stylen and Rafa, so it'll be interesting to see if the hard tyres will last for Cartwood and Mozza to the end of the race, but they're going to be incredibly warm. Wilco should be able to catch up to Cartwood. There's about a 20-second gap there, so with those tyres falling off towards the end, Wilco should be able to catch him quite quick, I would say.
I do have a plan for DRC Jared, and you two boys are from Victoria, so I'm sure you've been to the Melbourne Museum and know the story of our far lap. What we do is we take DRC Jared to America, we run him in a race, and then sometime that night he gets poisoned and he dies the next day.
Sounds...
Could we just take him out back like Old Yeller?
It's a pretty good idea, I reckon. I've got to admit, I'll get your comments in. Start voting. Should we...
should we kill Jared?
Should we kill DRC Jared, poison him, and leave him for dead? Oh, Wilco! Wilco is through! As we talk about murdering the man leading this race, Wilco is through and up into 3rd. That helmet is working wonders at the moment. He's up into P3, and Mozza couldn't do much about it, Bradley.
Yeah, Mozza definitely couldn't do much about it. He's on 10-lap older tyres than Wilco. He's on a fresh set of mediums, and look for Wilco to be rapidly fast in a bit of fresh air there. So it's unfortunate for Jono having that lock up against Cartwood there, because Jono would have been right in this battle with Wilco all the way up to Cartwood. So Wilco's got the fresh air now. We'll see him push, and hopefully he gets a bit close to the Cartwood at the end, so it's an entertaining finish for us to call.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this one real quick. Wilco on 1 lap there, and his first lap on the mediums is 5/10 quicker than Cartwood. So having a look at the gap there, so if he's 5/10 quicker, depending on the next lap here, I think by the time he gets close enough to Carty, they're going to be on about the same tyre life. So this could be a pretty interesting battle in the last 2 to 3 laps of this race. So this is one to look out for.
And so it's still not over. Cartwood there, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So the man in the Williams, who's on 10-lap old hard tyres, still, you've got to be careful. You've just, even 23 laps into this race, the tyres get a little bit older. You can start sliding around, as Wilco is absolutely on it, isn't he? At the moment, 19 seconds. That gap, he's gone with a 1:39.7. Wow, that's amazing. He's only 18 seconds off of Cartwood, and he's got penalties as well. The battle for second not over at the moment, Roberto. Not sure why I talk like that, but keep your comments coming in to the live stream. Kane says we should do that. I'm referring to poisoning DRC. Jared, geez, he said yes. He said yes awfully quickly, didn't he? I'd be checking.
Look,
yeah.
If we do enter him in a race, we have to make sure his hoof breaks. I don't know what the hoof is on a human being, but we'll make sure that breaks, and then bippity boppity boo, he gets poisoned.
Yes, it could very well happen, and he might only win the race by 10 seconds or something if we do it that way. But Kane says, yep, smiley face, we should definitely do that. And this man indeed, I reckon he's got a plane to catch, Wilco, because look how quick he's going. He wants his Singapore noodles. And Shep saying, well done, Wilco, keep pushing, mate. Keep pushing. And Wilco's good friend Alan Shep there who's, I think he's checking in from Sinbad's down there in Scoresby, Victoria. Big hello to Grinner and Rob Hiskin as well, tuning in from Shepparton, Scoresby, you name it. And so great to have your company. Everybody watching the live stream. 9 people still watching this stream for round 8 of this championship. As, well, what do we got?
Oh, Wilco having a moment there.
Wilco having a big moment indeed. And is that gap too much, fellas? Is it going to be too much to chase down with, what do we got, 7 or so laps left?
No, that's not going to be too much chase down. That's actually quite doable at the moment. But, and considering the car dude's on that, on pretty old tyres now, I mean, they're not terrible, but considering that Wilco has tyres that are 3 laps old now, and he can push as hard as he can towards the end of the race, whereas Cardi has to really think about lockups and all that. So this could be very interesting. And just a quick point, every time I think about Alan Shep, that video of him going through those boxes, all I can think about is how many boxes the big Shep has gone through in the day.
Ah, yes, nice one. I see what you did there. Get back to us, Shep. Let us know, brother. As Kane says, I will help do it. I'll help do. Kane looking. Oh my goodness! I tell you what, Big Dick Johnson. Sorry, I thought I missed something there. No, he had a move on BK, but I missed it. But he's not too far behind him, so we're going to stick with this battle. And they're not too far behind Mozza either, are they, on those old hard tyres? As Kane, while he's plotting it to poison DRC Jared. We're on lap 25 out of 31 of this race. DRC Jared with the win tonight. He doesn't currently have the fastest lap, and I bet that's just eating him away inside because he's that sort of person. I would imagine he's that sort of person. But the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th is very, very close, and it's going to get even closer before the end of this one, Kane. You can keep working out how you're going to poison DRC Jared. If I was DRC Jared, I'd be checking my locks and then checking them again tonight. But he will take the championship lead. And look at this battle, fellas. 4th, 5th and 6th. This is a sexy battle, Rob. It's a sexy-looking battle here.
Yes, it's very, very sexy. Almost as sexy as those helmet pics that Wilco sent earlier. And Big Dick Jono's just got the tyres at the moment, but in that dirty air, it's really hard. Mozza's getting overtaken by BK. BK around the outside, don't you mind, on Mozza there. So, yeah, that's a very interesting move. A little bit of contact, but yeah, BDJ really needs to get past these two to make headway on Wilco.
Here we go then, 4th, 5th and 6th, all in the DRS zone as we ride on board with Big Dick Johnson. He's got the fresh mediums, he's got DRS, but so does Mozza using his battery as well. He's through and up into P5, and Dane will be going off up there in Queensland. And that because his man is up into P5. That's if he's still watching, which I'm sure he is. But now he's off in pursuit of BK. But he's going to face a little bit more of a challenge here, Bradley, with BK, because his tyres are fairly similar in terms of age, but still there's a 4-lap difference.
Yeah, 4-lap difference between the tyres, but yeah, BDJ's been right on BK throughout this. One thing I'd like to point out, BK has got a few time penalties. He did pick one up, overtaking Mozza into that first corner there, so that may come back to haunt him, as I believe Jono's only got 1 time penalty. So, yeah, we could see Big Dog Jono jump BK here, but we could also see Mozza, if he sticks with these guys, he could also jump them. So, we'll see if Mozza's able to stick with them, but I gotta say that Mozza's hard tyres are definitely dying quickly, and unfortunately for him, just hasn't worked out for him, but still a pretty good drive. As BDJ's going down the inside of BK, he's gonna go for the move.
Ooh, that's pretty close there, very, very close indeed, and I do believe Jono has it done, so there will be champagne showers in Queensland tonight.
There certainly will be. Dane, who's still watching while he studies. I love you, man. As Big Dick Johnson, your man is through. Oh, yes, indeedy. That is incredible stuff. BK cutting across him. It looked a little bit nasty, but Big Dick Johnson said, piss off, I don't care. I'm going to take 4th place. And what a move. He got the job done. He gets the job done. And, boy, V8 man, just with the little water emojis that we've become accustomed to. He is very excited indeed. There's no other way to really describe that, is there? But, boy, Big Dick Johnson now up into P4. And where is Fumbles? Come to watch him. Piston Broke says, where's Fumbles? I think he means Fubbles. And Shep there saying, remember, rubbing is racing. Oh boy, the comments section is up and about. We've got 4 laps to go until the end of this race. And then these drivers can go off and get their Singapore noodles. Oh, you like $7 all day. As we've started with 12 drivers now. We've got 12. Oh boy. 12 drivers started this race, 7 are left as I try and push on from those sexually sort of comments there. I'm not sure whether we can say that, but I'm sure that things are a lot cheaper in Singapore. But BK with a 5-second penalty, and now he's into the pits, Roberto.
And he's retired.
Wow, that's a big one. So Big Dick Jono is in 4th. Mozza inherits 5th, and Crookie will be inheriting 7th. So good points for those boys as well to keep their championships alive. I'm not too sure how it pans out between those guys, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I did see the yellow flag in Sector 3 come out, so that might have just because of BK. So yeah, that's quite unfortunate. BK still will pick up some points, but yeah, it's half the field gone, half the field to go, right?
Yep, and it's a really, really boring race now, of course. But stick with us out there as Kane says, I will Liam Neeson him. I will find you, and I will kill you. Thank you for that, Kane. It's sounding more and more sinister with each comment, but lap 28 out of 31, DRC Jared could stop and have a, no, I won't say that. He could have a cup of tea, couldn't he? 48.4 seconds in front of Cart Dude, the Taswegian. I've got to say, fellas, who is your driver of the day? As BK says, I couldn't be fucked finishing. That's a great attitude to have there. But who is your driver of the day? First of all, Brad, I'll start with you. Is it Cart Dude or is it somebody else?
It's definitely got to be Cart Dude. The man didn't qualify, started at the back of the grid, and his strategy's just been spot on. As there's definitely not enough laps left for Wilco to catch Cart Dude at this rate. So Wilco's just going to hold on to that last podium position with Big Dog Jono, 14 seconds behind him. So Wilco on the podium again. Hashtag not scripted, no favoritism. But yeah, Cart Dude, I definitely have to say he is the driver of the day.
And Roberto, Wilco, Cart Dude, Jared, who is your driver of the day?
I mean, obviously it's going to be Cardi, but I've got to say, for the entertainment factor as well, Wilco and BDJ have been incredibly entertaining tonight, especially with some of the overtakes we've seen from those two boys. They've been incredibly impressive tonight, and DRC Jared, a freak as always. Unfortunately, I do think I will be named in the murder note when he does get poisoned, so this could be my last commentary and probably one of my last days of freedom, so I'm going to enjoy this race while I watch it. But Cart Dude certainly for driver of the day there.
Yeah, so we don't want to put a Mozza on him, but I've got to say that if he does die, there would only be 10 seconds in this battle for the lead, and things would be a lot more entertaining. But I'm just joking, Jared. Please don't die, and make sure I'll be looking at his windows now, I reckon, to see if Kane's out there. But
hi, Georgie.
Who's that peeking at the window?
We got balloons, all colours. They all float down here. And you'll float too. As lap 29 out of 31 as Piston Broke. Rob, you're a bad influence on me, I'll tell you that. As Piston Broke says Cart will be kissing himself later tonight after hearing his Driver of the Day award. As Kane says Driver of the Day, DOTD says DRC Jared. Kane, DOTD, is that Driver of the Day or Death of the Day? It's getting creepier and creepier, isn't it, with Crumpkin? But if he's anything like he's driving, you'll probably, DRC Jared will be long gone by the time you get there, Kane. But anyway, never mind about that. Penultimate lap of this race, and it would be remiss of me to go with our leader, who is coming into the pits, or a pit stop, strangely. What's going on here?
Fastest lap, of course, something that Sebastian Vettel used to do is pit almost very at the end of the race, but he had a big enough lead and just go for the hat trick. So at least everybody's at least within a minute of him now, so that's cool. Yeah, wonderful.
Makes really no difference at all, does it? Penultimate lap of this race. Well, I guess maybe a chance for some drivers. Is there anybody who's not on the lead lap? No, I think everybody's on the lead lap. 12 drivers started, 6 are left. As Mozza gets a time penalty for his troubles for multiple warnings. We've seen that a few times tonight. But can't do then. 17 laps on the hard tyres. Not a bad effort from him. As then we go down to Wilco then. But, boy, let us know if you've got any song requests in the comments. Please do. Hero, baby.
I can
kiss.
away.
I will stand by you forever. You can take my breath
away.
And Jared can take my boredom. No, he can't take my boredom away. Okay.
Jared could take my meth away.
Oh, yes, boy, lap 30. It's been on lap 30 for a while. Is it glitching out or what's happening? We might just recap through this field just for Dane Williams in Brisbane, Queensland. I'm sure it's very warm and very humid up there, but here's something to make you feel better while he's studying. Big Dick Johnson in P4. And, oh, yeah, we're going to miss out on a podium finish for him, Rob, but still, it's good to see our man in the top 4. As Mozza then for Mercedes. Toto would be very happy, but he's banging his sauce here. Yeah, Honest Crook in P6 there.
I'd bang Susie too, but that's fine.
So would I. Oh, okay, yeah. So lap 31 out of 31 in this race, as that is DRC Jared. And as I talk about someone coming up to get lapped, Mozza is looking like he might get through this race.
Don't turn right when he's overtaking you. That's a no-no, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big no-no. As Big Sheppington says, McDonald's drive-through. Would you like fries with that? Is that a song request or just a comment or a joke? It could be all of the above. But let's just talk about this man. He's coming up for his 4th win of the season, I think. But it's a fantastic effort from him here. Round 8 of this championship. And I think we've got 3 weeks to go now. He will take the championship lead, whilst Harry gets over his issues from last week. But can't do then in P2. He's going to finish 2nd for Williams.
I believe I've heard a rumour that he checked into rehab that it affected him that badly. Rob, you did a number on him, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you get sexually assaulted, it does take time to recover.
Touche. As Wilco then in the Ferrari. Yeah. Oh, Wilco!
Oh, wow! Jeez Louise, Wilco, don't do that.
And DRC Jared, oh shit, he's crossed the line to finish this race. And he's set a lap quicker than what I've ever done around here, I reckon. But he wins the race. Can't, dude. A bit of a shoddy directing on my part as the fireworks are out. And the Singapore Noodles are getting ready for Cartdude, the Taswegian, who was last on the grid. It was a bit of a tactical move there, but he comes across the line to greet him all day. $7 you like, as Cartdude comes across the line now. Not sure what I'm going on about, but that is victory for him. As Wilco now, as the frame rate drops incredibly on my screen, it's like I'm having some sort of seizure. As Wilco crosses the line in P3. And I guess the next question, Bradley, is time penalties, but I guess everybody's keeping their finishing positions as we see Big Dick Johnson come through for the final, 4th place, the final driver on the lead lap, I believe. Yes, 4th place for him. And what a race. It was boring in some places, but thank God we had Rob Dog here to spice it up.
Yeah, spice it up and sexual it up and cause murder plans. These are all jokes. I do have a 6th sense of humour and I should be locked up, but gee, it's pretty entertaining commentating with 3 people, I reckon.
It certainly is indeed. As Cartdude says, did I not say I was on a mint strategy? Not quite the...
Why is Cartdude's character black?
he's
It's
been
Lewis
black.
Hamilton.
He's
Because I'm black.
he looks well. He's been black for a while too. I think he was black. This is the third game he's been black. Guess who's black? Black again. Count dude's black. Tell a friend. Okay. And
Hey, Brad, did you know that car dude's black?
No, I wouldn't have known at all.
Oh, if you're going to, argue with me over my colour. Okay, so DRC Jared then in P1. Where was I? Can't Dude in P2. The man in black. Wilco in third. Fourth for Big Dick Johnson. We'll roll through these pretty quickly, DRC Jared. I know you're there, but Honest Crook in sixth. Seventh, eighth for Danielson. BK in seventh it was. Big Donger. We didn't see too many dive bombs today. The other guys didn't finish. BK couldn't be fucked there at the end. Fastest lap of the race going to DRC Jared, of course. Would you expect anything less? As there's a few comments here I'm having to approve, so please keep it friendly, as we do, of course. Has every driver, I think, got a penalty there? Every driver who finished had a post-race penalty. As we welcome our top three finishers, we might, there's three of us, so we might interview them one at a time. We'll start with you, Roberto, and you can welcome DRC Jared.
Yes, DRC Jared, that's a superb drive there, buddy. Always ultra quick, and gotta say though, did you have to rub it in with that last pit stop? But you left from start to finish, bud, and I gotta say the strategy really worked out for you there. Not that it really fucking mattered in the end, but
you could have done 6 pit stops and still won. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Got a good start, and then had good pace, I guess. So yeah. Good pace is an understatement.
Yeah,
that's right.
good pace. Yeah, it's just the average Sunday drive for Jared there, but
Absolutely
good win,
taking the piss.
You do take the championship lead now, so things are looking quite gold in your future, my friend.
Yeah, cool. I don't know. Mate, come on, you've had 5 starts, 5 wins. You should be getting better at these podium interviews. Yeah, no, I probably should, but I don't really, yeah. Good shit.
All right, Jared, I'm sure we could talk all day, but congratulations on the win. And just for your information too, there are a couple of people looking to murder you, I think, at one stage there. But anyway, so keep an eye out for that, just to make things more interesting. Yeah, we'll go back and have a look, Wilco. But got a little bit funny there at some stage. But we just worked out if DRC Jared was not alive, that it would have been a closer finish, actually, between yourself and Can't Dude for the win. But DRC Jared, thank you for joining us, and all the best for next week if you are indeed still alive.
Jesus.
He'll probably he'd be still quicker than half of us, wouldn't he? But anyway, thank you for that as we move along to who finished second. Cart Dude, who finished second. This is where Brad, we'll get Brad to interview him.
Maybe. Do you reckon that'd be confusing though? Okay, cool.
We do not sound the same.
I'd actually rather someone who got a race ban to interview me. So Rob,
Okay.
you're intelligent.
All right, well, considering your character's black, I will speak like a black man. God, dude, you finished really well.
Black man or Toto?
I don't know at this point. I come from South Africa. Wait, no, South Africa. Yeah.
Look,
Dude,
okay.
you did a really good job,
hold
but
on.
I can't believe that you did not finish ahead of DRC Jared. What the fuck's going on, man?
So, hang on. Before I answer any questions, I actually have to call the Tasmanian police to report a molesting, because everyone got molested tonight.
Oh yeah, just a lazy 1 second quicker on medium tyres in quality.
Absolutely crashed everyone. And he should go to jail for 30 years over it.
Oh, it's fine. I'm pretty sure I'm actually implemented in a murder plot now. So it's whoever's going to jail at this point. It's probably the guy who's already been banned. So, but it was a very good race from you, Cardi, and it was really interesting with your strategy, starting on the mediums, going to the hards. which did seem like the best strategy at the start of the race, especially in qualifying. It looked like that way to go. And starting at the back of the grid too, so a lot of passing there, and the action between you, Big Dick, and Wilco there looked really interesting for a long time there. Unfortunately, a few little incidents happened, but a really good solid race from you, mate.
You know that question that old bloke asked a question for like 10 minutes? That's what that just was.
Do you ever feel...
Wait, you gotta get better saying, hey, you did not listen to the question. Can you please repeat?
Car dude was driving his car like a computer.
Show me the fucking money.
Oh, shit.
Alright.
Yeah, I guess the strategy did pay off because when I seen the quali times, I kind of thought I can only probably qualify at best 7th or 6th, realistically, so I thought, well, what's the point being on shit tyres when I can start last and be on fresh ones, and I kind of got lucky. There was incidents ahead of me, but I spun on the first lap too, so...
Good stuff, Cart. We might move along as Big
Rob,
Shep.
can you repeat that question, please?
So at the start of the race, no, fuck off.
Gentlemen, a short view back to the past. As
Yeah, that's the guy.
As Big Shep says, well done, Wilco from Sinbad's. We'll get through some of these comments before we get to you, Wilco. Well done, Wilco from Sinbad's Bar and from Linton Place there in Scoresby, Victoria. Rob Hiskins over there at Shepherd and he says, well done, everyone. Shep wants me to interview Wilco as Murray Walker. We might get to that in a moment, but before you go, Cart Dude, are you still there, Brad?
Yeah.
Can you do a Cart Dude impression before we let him go?
Just so normal.
You guys
There we go.
simply sound the same, and you know...
Wait, hang on. Let's just throw something out there. So let's do the alphabet. Brad, you just start with A, then Brody go B, and just keep alternating. Let's see what happens. Go.
Okay, A.
Brody
He's
doesn't know the
not
alphabet. Awesome, sweet, that's good.
Typical fucking Tasmanian.
A short view back to the past. Okay, here we go. So, Wilco, Jason Wilkinson, a good friend of Shep, wants me to interview you as Murray Walker. You finished 3rd. Is that the best you could have done with your sexy body tonight?
Yeah, I don't know what happened at the start there. Let's go some different, so, good voice to me. Yeah, I don't know if Donga hit Jared or I hit him, I don't know, it was weird. He's spun in front of me and...
You hit him hard enough.
Yeah, I don't think I even hit him until he was in front of me, but...
What you need to do is hit them hard enough so they leave.
Check themselves into
Jesus.
rehab.
And then, yeah, those soft tyres are absolutely trashed. They're like 2 seconds lap slower than everyone around us. And then brand new mediums are beautiful until they're about 20% old and they're screwed. And yeah, I was hoping I was going to catch Brody, but no chance.
No.
That's what
Fantastic!
Dale got.
Thank you for that, Wilco. And that was for you, Big Shep, sinking those suds faster than anybody down there in Scoresby, Victoria. Wilco?
I just want to say thanks to Jono. He let me through early on. I was going to let him back through, but he was 15 seconds behind.
You could let me through.
I was going to, and then you went around the inside, so I'm like, oh, let's try and have a little battle here, and then, yeah, you were too good and too much grip.
All right, fellas, as Moz says, fancy having someone with a race band commentate. Oh, don't be like that. And Piston Broke says, Wilco likes a good hit with a donger. Oh, yes. Very nice. Very nice indeed. All right, I think we're
I've
about...
seen his helmet, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was quite nice. We
The
mentioned that
purple
too, Wilco. It's nice.
Well, I hope so. It took me 16 hours to do it. I had to paint it myself.
Oh, nice,
Anyway.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
again, that's a weird fetish you have, but good luck, bud.
All
I
right,
do like my purple helmets.
thank you, and a
Stop
big
choking it.
thanks. I think we're about to wrap this up here while we're still on air, Rob. Okay, big thank you to everyone. Shep, Roberto, Mozza, Cart Dude, everyone, and all the other people I've forgotten about. Don't forget to join us next week for round
Japan.
9
Brad.
in Japan.
Brad.
Ohio gozaimasu. And Bradley Marshall, my offsider here. Thank you very much again And Big Shep says, thank you, Trev, for another week. And that is awesome. So thank you to everybody in the commentary box. Wilco, Cartu, DRC, Jared. If you're still around next week, I'm sure you will be. Congratulations on the win tonight. Closing comments, anybody?
Out of the Dutchie.
Thank fuck we're going to Japan next week.
Hopefully it's not Jared's favourite track again.
Hopefully it doesn't have a Fat Boy bomb land on it.
Can we have a typhoon?
I was about to go with the typhoon joke, but you just had to go with Hiroshima there, didn't you? But thank you, Roberto, for that. Awesome to have you in the commentary box. Mozza saying thanks. Shep, thank you. DRC Jared says, I love Japan.
Damn it!
Awesome.
Bonsai! And let's just get off the air before the World War II jokes start. Thank you for your company, everybody. If you want to get involved, all the W's.supremeracingleague.com, leagues on Xbox One, PS4 and PC. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. But now, it's goodbye.